Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. Today we're going to be talking about a cheapie. How cheap? Pretty freaking cheap. $22 for a 120 milliliter size bottle. We're talking full presentation. No testers here. You get the cap, you get the box, you get the full presentation. 22 bucks. I mean, that is crazy cheap. At that point, you're talking pretty much bargain bin, and usually you're not going to find anything worth a crap at that price point. I mean, there's the occasional fragrance that's decent at that price, but most of them that you buy around there, not going to be good. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about this one, Joop Homme Ice, and I'm going to let you guys know whether or not this is worth the whole $22 that you have to pay to pick it up. We'll also check out the presentation like always. So let's jump into it. Let's start it off with the presentation. The box is really simple. On the front, you've got the name of the house, the name of the fragrance, the size and concentration, just bare bones. You know, there's not a lot going on here. Nothing at the top, nothing on the sides. On the back, you have your ingredient information. Then on the bottom of the box, like always, you're gonna have your batch code and your barcode. Your batch code here is 0162 for this particular bottle. And here is the bottle. This is gonna come in that familiar Joop bottle shape design where it looks kind of like a half circle, basically. But it fits in your hand really well. Like I said, 120 milliliters, so a little bit bigger than your typical bottle size. Typically, you're gonna be looking at a 3.4 ounce, 100 ml bottle. This one, you get 20 extra milliliters. On the front, you've got the name of the house, the name of the fragrance. The cap does click into place. On the original, the caps kind of slide down snugly, but this one snaps into place. On the bottom, you've got your batch code. It is etched into the glass. There's no sticker on the bottom here. I'll go ahead and waste a spray for you guys so you can check out the Atomizer. Really nice, as you can see. There's a lot about this fragrance that is interesting. There's a lot to talk about here. This one, the very first time I sprayed it on, did not like the opening, didn't care for it. I actually thought it was a little bit off-putting, you know, a little bit synthetic, a little bit funky. But the second time that I sprayed this on, and subsequent times after that, I actually really liked the opening. This one opens up with a fruity mix, and it's really interesting because it's plum mixed with bergamot and grapefruit. So you have a plum and citrus combination. The reason that's interesting is because those fruity notes do completely different things. The citrus notes, the bergamot and the grapefruit, those are really fresh, really bright, really juicy. Plum is a little darker, a little more sensual. It's not quite as zingy as the citrus. So this kind of contrast is really interesting in the opening. You've got this citrus over here, and it's fresh, and like I said, bright, and then you have plum right at the same time being more sensual and deeper. Between the plum and the citrus, the plum is what comes out more, the plums. And a lot of you out there like those plums. After about 5 to 10 minutes, you get this little touch of clary sage. So there's this little herbal facet in there, but not too much of it. It's not really prominent, more of a nuance, more of a supporting note. And it's not at all acerbic. It's not really sharp. It doesn't come across offensive at all, which is very nice because again, this fragrance, almost a $20 flat price tag. You would expect it would have this sharpness where it really attacks your nose and you're like, oh God, that smells cheap. You don't get that at all. As it heads into the mid, it warms up pretty quickly. So you start to get this creamy sandalwood that comes out, and that actually becomes one of the main notes once you hit the mid. Technically, sandalwood's a base note in here, but it comes out pretty early on and stays there for the rest of the lifespan of the fragrance. There is also a tobacco note in the mid of the fragrance. Do I really smell tobacco here? No, not really. Once it hits the dry down, you pick up something that could be considered like a tobacco leaf a little bit, but it's not all that strong. It's pretty much underneath and subdued by the sandalwood note. There's also an orange blossom note in the mid, and while I don't pick up a super strong, super prominent orange blossom, I do get this little bit of a silky white floral undertone. and that is the orange blossom. So even though it's not really in your face, it plays a nice role. It kind of wraps everything up really nicely. This fragrance ultimately is all about the warmth and this alluring sweetness that it has as it dries down, which doesn't make the most sense when you see the packaging and the name. Because the bottle, of course, is this nice shade of blue, and so is the box, and the name is Homme Ice. So you would think this is gonna be super refreshing and brisk and zingy, but it's really not. I mean, the note breakdown also doesn't really get across that iciness, does it? I mean, it has citrus. Citrus can be very refreshing, but then you've got plum and tobacco and orange blossom and sandalwood playing a lot of prominent parts in the fragrance's makeup. So ice, not really. Summertime, super hot out fragrance, also not really. This one is gonna be best for spring and fall. Neutral weather kind of situations when it's not too hot and not too cold. The opening does have some refreshing facets. Again, the bergamot, the grapefruit, but it's contrasted right away with the plum, so it never goes full on into being a summer scent. And then as it dries down, it has that warmth, that creaminess, and that residual sweetness from the opening that carries over, and it becomes, like I've said before, more of a warm fragrance, not something that you would expect to wear when it's 95 degrees outside. That's Fahrenheit. If you live somewhere other than the US, 95 degrees Celsius, you're having a bad time. So the name, Ice, it doesn't really make much sense, but whatever. Ultimately, all that matters is that what's inside this bottle is something worth wearing. And thankfully here, it absolutely is. $22 for 120 milliliters. This fragrance is solid. The fragrance is very versatile. It smells really, really nice. It does not come across smelling like a chemical mess. It doesn't come across smelling sharp, like I mentioned before. It is really, really good. It's also decently unique. It doesn't try to copy another fragrance out there. You know, it's not taking another fragrance's DNA and putting a little twist on it and then going, hey, look what I made. This is completely unique. Don't look at that other guy's stuff. Absolutely did not copy that. This is completely unique. It's not doing that, thankfully. You could also wear this one either day or night. That's that versatility that I was mentioning before. It's not so heavy that it could only be a nighttime fragrance. It does have that little bit of freshness, but it does have that warmth where you could wear it in the evening. You can easily wear this casually. You could wear this on a night out. You could wear this on a date, and it's also office safe, though it is a little bit sweet. So if you don't typically like to wear fragrances on the sweet side to the office, maybe you wouldn't want to wear this one, but it is office safe in the sense that nobody's really going to be offended by this. Oh, and the performance. Again, 22 bucks. Lasts over 8 hours, no problem. Above average in terms of longevity. In terms of projection, also above average. This one is a steal. For the price, this fragrance right here, one of the best cheapies that I've bought easily in the past year, if not longer. Because again, for the like 5th time in this video, $22 for 120 milliliters. Full presentation, you even get the box. If you don't like the box, you can throw it away. But you'll have the satisfaction of knowing that you threw away an actual box, not a tester box. Is that worth something? Probably not. Seriously though, this fragrance is solid, very good, and my wife likes it a bunch as well. So that counts. I believe for a while this was pretty hard to get in the US. So this only recently started to pop up at discounters. The only one that I'm aware of as of this video is Fragrance X. So I'll leave a link in the description to that in case you're interested. But for me, this one is gonna be one that I recommend on cheapie lists for a while. This fragrance, just if we get rid of the price tag, the 22 bucks that I've harped on way too much already. If this was $40 from a discounter or 45 bucks, I would still think that you should check it out because it is a really good fragrance. So the fact that you can get it for half that price really just bumps it up even more for me. This one, 2 thumbs up all day. If you smell this fragrance, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Also, let me know what is your favorite fragrance from this house. There are actually a couple more that I want to get that I don't have yet. Hopefully I will in the near future. This one, oof, this one's pretty good. If you're turned off by the very first spray, try it again. Trust me. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.